This is a levitating light bulb desk lamp curiosity piece. So I was sent this to review for free. If you wanted to purchase it, it would cost you about $70. They haven't paid me for the review, and my opinion remains my own. Alright, so in the package, we get this base here. Kind of heavy, feels like it might have some metal or a magnet or something inside of it. It has a little kind of almost a foil sticker here. I believe it's a capacitive touch sensor. There's a little dot in there, which I think might be a wire coming up that this little sticker stuck down on top of. So it feels like plastic, but it has a nice wood grain look. And on the back, there's this barrel connector that the power supply plugs into like that. And you get this power supply with maybe about 4 feet of wire. So this power supply is 12 volts, maximum 1 amp. So it's a not a super powerful power supply, but it has at least 12 watts in there. Now, in addition to the base, the levitation base, you get this little light bulb thing. I think it might be plastic, but it could potentially also be glass. I think that might be actual glass as opposed to a plastic. Inside of it, it has an LED filament light bulb that's kind of in a heart shape. And it has a bit of a felt pad on the bottom here, and it's attracted magnetically to this base in a couple of different spots. So I think there's a couple of magnets down here. And it also comes with this instruction sheet about how you suspend the light on the base and turning it on and off. Alright, I've plugged in the base here, and the instructions say you take this guy, hold it with both hands, move it down vertically, and you're going to feel magnetic force, so don't, let it go, it'll slam into the base. And it says that if you get it in the right spot, it will start to have a force allowing it to hover and be supported. And you basically just have to move it until you feel where it's supported. It also says you can push this thing to turn the light on and off. So I've used magnetic floating bases before, and sometimes it's tricky to get it levitating. Now I hear some noises from the base as it's trying to counteract the magnetic force moving around. Okay, I have it in place. There's a little bit of an oscillating noise coming from the base. Nothing I don't think is actually moving. I think it's just harmonics of the electronic field as they adjust the magnets and so forth. So turning it on or off, it still has that noise. And you can see it is levitating magnetically now. It only has maybe a ½ inch between the bottom of this bulb and the base, so it's not a super high levitation, but it's definitely levitating. And so the unique bit here is that in addition to the levitation, I believe it's magnetically powering that little LED light in there. And it controls that separately from the levitation. Okay, so it does what it's supposed to do. The only annoyance in my mind is there is an audible noise here. It's not silent. It's not a loud noise, but I can hear it sitting just a couple feet away. Alright, I put my camera about a foot away. We'll see if you can hear the noise in the camera. It's kind of like a low-pitched, I'm not going to say grinding noise, it's kind of a whoosh type noise. So when I take the bulb off, the noise goes away. When I put it on, it comes back. If it thunks down, it turns off. So yeah, it does make an audible noise. It's very faint. In an office environment with some extra noise around, you probably wouldn't hear that. In a silent house, I can hear it. And if ambient noise like that bothers you, you can probably hear it 5 or 6 feet away if it's really quiet. I have a magnet from a different magnetic levitation machine, and it appears to be kind of opposite of the magnetic charge in the base of the bulb, because when I set it down, it really thunks down. And also, when I try to put this bulb on my other magnetic levitation machine, it really just goes straight down. It doesn't really have a chance to kind of hover. I think the magnet polarity is incorrect. Also, the generic base that just hovers a magnet doesn't light up the little LED inside. So this other magnetic hovering toy is much quieter. It's the type that has like 4 little LEDs on the corners. And it hovers a little higher, maybe an inch high instead of ½ inch high, although that might be based on the weight of what's on top of it. But I like the fact this guy is essentially, you can't hear it. Alright, so this guy looks cool, works pretty well. The only downside is it does have just that faint noise going all the time. And I don't think there's going to be any way to get rid of that noise. So if you're in an environment that does, it has some ambient noise, if you're in a business or someplace, an office with people talking, you're not going to notice that. But if it's a silent environment, you will notice that noise. So if the power should be interrupted, either a power outage or somebody unplugs it, it seems to just snap to the nearest magnet. It stays upright, it doesn't come off the base. So it seems to be relatively safe. It's not going to go flying and land somewhere. Then of course you have to reset it. And I made that look easy with some practice. It's not difficult, but it is touchy, so don't expect to be able to set it up there that quickly on your first try.